Hi, good morning, guys. Oh my God, the sun's shining right in my face. I'm probably gonna complain about it the whole time. Good morning, everyone. I almost didn't make it on. I'm sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Okay, welcome. We're gonna get a mat, and hopefully you're wearing something comfortable before we get started. Good morning, all of my friends. Susie, Ash, Nads, hello everyone. Okay, so we're gonna be doing a 30-minute mobility routine, and if this is your first time joining me for mobility, what it is dynamic movements. We're not gonna be doing a lot of holding of stretches, more so sort of moving through the range of motion of your joints and just getting things woken up for the day ahead. And so please continue to move through the movements in whatever way feels comfortable for you. So don't force yourself to go into too deep of a range. Just move within your body's limits and what your body is telling you, and that'll be it. So I'm just gonna open this door because I'm a little bit hot already. Okay, so we're gonna actually start on our knees this morning. We usually start sitting cross-legged, and you can do that if you have knee problems or ankle problems where this position hurts, or you can also put a pillow underneath your knees, or even roll your mat over a couple of times so that it gives a little bit of cushion for your knees. So whatever works for you, do that. And we're gonna just start on our knees, just having yourself sitting fully on your ankles. Hands are just resting on the top of your legs, and we're gonna close our eyes and just take a couple of deep breaths. And you want to find yourself in a nice neutral upright position, so your shoulders are coming down away from your knees, ears and back, and you're finding that your neck is elongating, your spine is getting into its natural S shape. As much as possible, rolling them down, back and away, opening up your chest and around the front. And that same thing in reverse. Beautiful. And you're going to take your arms out in front and you're slowly going to open them up so you feel your chest opening and bring them back together. So mobility work is really important for the body, especially if you feel tight from your workouts or from a lot of walking or running that maybe you've been doing. And it's a good way to loosen up some of those tight tendons, ligaments, muscles without forcing your body into static stretching that might really aggravate a certain muscle. Interlacing your fingers, pressing them out and away from the body, curling your chin in to your chest. And bringing those hands together behind your back, leaning forwards and lifting them up. And we're going to do that same thing a couple more times, pressing forwards and leaning forwards. Press. One more time. Awesome. Reaching your arms up towards the ceiling and rotating around in a nice full range of motion, placing your hands down onto the mat, facing away from you, and gently rocking forwards and backwards. And turning those hands to face your knees and gently rocking forwards and backwards again. So I like to do some wrist mobility because it's super important if you work on a computer or typing a lot on your cell phone. And tightness through the wrist joint can actually lead to carpal tunnel down the road. So we like to get some joint mobilization going to help sort of counteract that. And we're counteracting the motion where your hands are just sitting in a static position for a long time. So when you sit typing, they're not really moving. And that static position, it gets kind of stiff there, then things start pushing on nerves, which causes pain. So that's why this mobility is important. Putting the top of your hands down on the mat and gently leaning forwards and backwards. And you want to try to get the full top of your hand on the ground here. So if you've got a lot of limitations, you may find that you're not able to get the top of your hand on the ground, or that in order to do so, you have to bend your elbows. So if that is the case, I would definitely recommend that you do more wrist mobility work to try to get things opened up in there. And keeping your hands, the top of your hands on the ground, I want you to make a fist and open. Fist and open. Fist and open. One more time and open. Great. Bring your hands together. Some light rotation here. Changing directions. Beautiful. We're going to come onto all fours with your shoulders stacked directly over top of your wrists and your hips over top of your knees. And we're going to just do a few cat-cows, where you are hollowing out and looking towards your belly button, rounding out your back up towards the ceiling, and then letting it drop down and looking up. And still staying on your hands and knees, you're going to bring one hand behind your head, and we're going to just do a little bit of rotation, bringing that elbow to your other arm and opening it up. And again, just go in whatever range feels comfortable for you. And now you can take that arm straight, reaching it up and reaching it through. And up and through. Coming back to the center, and we're going to switch over onto the other side. Opposite arm behind your head, elbow is bent, and bringing that elbow to your other arm and opening it up. Taking it out straight, reaching through and twisting. Last time here. And coming back to the center and pressing your butt back towards your heels, stretching your arms out as far as you can in front. And we're going to do some rocking forwards and backwards here. So your knees and your hands stay planted. Your body shifts between the two. So leaning your pelvis forwards and then back. Walking your hands over to one side of your mat and then the other. Side to side here. Feeling that lengthening, alternating on either side of your body. Awesome. How are you guys feeling so far? All right. So we're going to come up onto our knees in a tall upwards stance, and you're going to step forwards into a half kneeling position. Now, if you have any knee problems, feel free to pop a pillow underneath your knees or roll your mat so that you've got some cushioning, okay? I find with these hardwood floors underneath the mat that it sort of starts to bother my knee after pretty quickly. So anyways, we're in a half kneeling position and we're gonna gently lean forwards and back. Just allowing yourself to slowly get into each position. So as you gently start to warm up the hips, you'll notice that you're able to press that back hip more forwards and that you're able to lengthen out the front leg more. And you can keep your hands resting above your knee on the leg in front, or if you've got a lot of good mobility through this area, you might even have your hands on the ground the entire time. Staying just upright in that half kneeling position, you are going to, the same leg that's in the back, you're going to stretch that arm up overhead and reach over to one side. Coming back up into the center, taking that arm across your front leg, stretching the other arm out in front and twisting and opening. And we're going to shift between those two things nice and slowly, reaching sideways and then twisting. And your head should stay in line with your hand. So if your arm's up overhead, you can look up and underneath that arm. And then as you twist, keep your eyes in line with that hand. One more time here. Beautiful. And coming back onto both knees and just sitting back. And you can kind of rotate your hips around a little bit here in a circle. Changing direction, switching to the other direction, just circling your hips around your knees. Awesome. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. So coming up into a half kneeling stance. So your foot's tracking like just in line with your back knee and then slightly off from it. So you want to keep your hips squared towards that front leg, okay? You want to try to avoid opening up your hips too much, okay? So we're going to just start our gentle rocking forwards and backwards here. And you may find that you need to pop that front leg forwards a little bit more, whatever works for you. Allow yourself to slowly get into that full range where you're able to fully lengthen the front leg and then fully lean forwards into that lunge. And again, if you've got a lot of mobility, you might have your hands on the ground. That's awesome. I am not one of those people. And coming back to just that neutral half kneeling position. And we're going to do the same thing as the other side. So taking the same arm as your back leg, stretching it up overhead and leaning over to one side. Coming back, taking that arm across the body, stretching your arm out in front of you and twisting. And we're gonna alternate those two things. So side body stretch and then a twist. Looking with your head over top of that hand the entire time. Last time here, guys. Beautiful. And coming back onto both knees, sitting back one more time. You can get that pillow out of the way if you want, or keep it somewhere close by. But we're going to pop up onto our toes at the back of our mats and slowly roll up to the top. Stretching arms overhead and folding forwards. Walking out into a plank position. And from here, you're going to alternate side to side by stepping forwards with one of your legs and putting it beside your hands, and then twisting that opposite arm up to the ceiling and back. Switching over to the other side. One more time on each side, and if you need to put your knee down in the back in order to get your foot up, that's fine too. But ideally you want to have that knee up off of the mat if possible. And walking your hands back up to your feet. And standing. Feeling good. We're gonna do a little bit of ankle work here in standing, and you're only gonna really see the lower half of my body, but that's okay. So, starting with your favorite foot, you're going to press your toes down into the ground, so to make your arch. And then from here, you're gonna turn your toes under and press the top of your foot down. So we're switching between two positions on the toes. And placing that foot down, leaning your shin forwards and backwards while keeping that foot planted on the ground. So it's much like we did with our wrists with that rocking motion, but now you're sort of rocking your shin forwards and backwards through the ankle joint. You got it. And switching over to the other side, starting with our toes and then the top of the foot. Toes and then top. You got it, guys. And placing that foot down flat, and again leaning that shin forwards and back through the ankle. So you want to lean forward so that you feel like it can't go any further forwards without lifting up your heel. Beautiful. You guys got it. into a wide leg stance on your mat. Toes are going to be turned out slightly. We are going to slowly lower down into a nice deep squat position. Elbows are pressing on the inside of your knees. Hands come down onto the ground and straighten. Bend and straighten. And leaning over into one side and then the other. Side to side here. Awesome. And you can come to find yourself in a seated position on your mat. Cross-legged is fine, whatever you like. Sitting down though. We're going to place our hands on either side of our body, and we're going to just reach side to side here. One more time, each direction. And find yourself in the center again. We have come to the end of our time together. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning. Next week, we will be back with mobility on Monday at 12:30 in the afternoon. So midday, taking a break from the workday to do that. And then our regular strength, sort of higher intensity strength workouts happen on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. And then there's 2 10-minute quick workouts on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. and then morning mobility on Fridays at 8. So that's the schedule I've been doing. I hope it's working out for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me this morning and for taking the time for yourself, which is the most important part of all of this. Make sure that you continue to take time for you and to do things that make you feel good and help you really connect with your body and just have a little bit less tension, hopefully, during this crazy time. So happy Friday. Have a wonderful day, a great afternoon. The sun is shining, so have a good one, guys.